In the beginning of the movie, a king and his soldiers venture into a cave to confront a dragon. The king, cautious and observant, leads his men, but they are attacked by the dragon, and the soldiers are killed. The king, left with no choice, pleads for his life. The scene shifts to another kingdom many years later, where poverty and hunger reign. Elodie, the princess, is faced with a proposal from a prince of a wealthy kingdom. Despite her reluctance, she agrees to marry him to help improve her kingdom's situation, as her father believes it will bring positive change. Although apprehensive, Elodie sees this marriage as a potential solution to the struggles her people face. Little does she know, the challenges awaiting her in this new alliance may be greater than she anticipates. During their journey to the new kingdom, Elodie and her entourage encounter a sea storm, where they catch sight of dragons amidst the chaos. Upon arriving at the palace, Elodie is captivated by its grandeur, far surpassing the size of her own. Welcomed by a royal servant, they are shown to their rooms to rest. Later, as Elodie stands on the balcony gazing out, she notices distant mountains ablaze with fire. The following morning, the queen expresses her approval of the union to Elodie's father, proposing they proceed with the wedding the next day. Before the ceremony, Elodie and the prince have a private conversation. Elodie, hesitant, asks if he feels coerced into the marriage. The prince reassures her, expressing genuine admiration for her beauty and denying any pressure. As they journey, Elodie points out a hill to the prince, mentioning the fire she saw in the mountains nearby. The prince confirms the significance of those mountains, revealing that inside a cave there lie ancient rituals, scheduled for after their wedding, which they will partake in together. In the subsequent scene, Elodie's father appears troubled since meeting the queen. When Elodie's mother inquires about his worries and receives no response, she resolves to speak with the queen. However, the queen, displaying arrogance, refuses to engage with Elodie's mother, dismissing her due to her origins from a smaller kingdom. Disturbed by the atmosphere, Elodie's mother gathers her two daughters, expressing a sense of foreboding. Elodie's father intervenes, swiftly escorting her away, indicating his own desire to conceal something troubling. In the following scene, we witness Elodie's marriage to the prince, followed by their journey to the mountains where she had previously spotted the fire. As the prince had informed her earlier, they approach a cave nestled within the mountain, where the inhabitants of the kingdom eagerly await their arrival. Here, the queen reveals to Elodie a chilling tale. Within this very cave resides a dragon that had wreaked havoc upon their kingdom a century ago. Desperate to end the devastation, their king had ventured into the cave to confront the dragon, but was unable to defeat it. In a desperate bid to save his life and secure peace for their kingdom, the king struck a deal with the dragon, offering his 3 daughters in exchange for the cessation of its attacks. Since then, the dragon had refrained from further assaults upon their land. Since that day, the ritual has been observed without fail. The queen proceeds to cut both the prince's and Elodie's hands, joining them together and declaring them as one entity henceforth. With Elodie feeling a mix of embarrassment and anticipation, the prince carries her in his arms. As they stand before a pit, uncertainty fills Elodie's mind. Suddenly, without warning, the prince drops her into the pit, causing her to lose consciousness upon impact. Upon awakening, Elodie cries out for help, inadvertently stirring the slumbering dragon within the pit. With no aid forthcoming, Elodie resolves to climb out herself, only to find the walls of the pit too slick for ascent. Amidst her struggles, she notices an array of girls' belongings scattered around. Then, to her shock, she glimpses flames flickering through the air. Elodie notices charred insects, evidence of the dragon's fiery breath. Terrified, she faces the dragon, who asks for her name. After she reveals it, the dragon declares that she must die that day because she carries royal blood. Fearing for her life, Elodie flees, but the dragon pursues her with fire. In her escape, Elodie finds a small cave, but the dragon's flames still burn her foot badly. Despite the pain, she binds the wound with torn clothes and resolves to keep running. Determined to survive, Elodie explores her surroundings and spots a mysterious blue light along the way, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness of her ordeal. Following the light, Elodie discovers it emanates from a tree. Despite her curiosity, she hesitates due to a large pit obstructing her path. With the dragon behind her and the pit ahead, she faces imminent danger. Faced with no other choice, she decides to leap across the pit, but a misstep nearly leads to her demise. Utilizing the knife in her possession, she manages to save herself from falling and crosses to the other side. As she approaches the tree, she realizes the blue light originates from small glowing insects adorning its branches. Resourceful as ever, Elodie tears her dress to fashion a makeshift container, gathering the insects to create a makeshift lamp to guide her way. Further along, she encounters a serene waterfall. Parched from her ordeal, she leans to drink, only to be interrupted by the sudden appearance of the dragon, launching another fiery assault. Elodie, driven by instinct, flees once more to evade the deadly flames. Hiding in a small cave, Elodie is confronted by the dragon's taunts, warning her that no matter how she tries to escape, she will eventually succumb to its grasp. As she surveys the cave, she notices the names of many girls etched into the walls, realizing they were likely victims of sacrifice. Overwhelmed and exhausted, Elodie drifts into sleep. Upon awakening, she discovers the insects she had collected on her wound, seemingly tending to it. Astonished by their healing properties, she gathers them and finds her wound completely healed. Pressing on with newfound determination, she discovers a map etched onto a small stone, guiding her path out of the perilous maze. Despite the treacherous terrain filled with sharp stones, Elodie perseveres, pushing through the pain until she finally finds a way out. However, she realizes that even though she's escaped the immediate danger, the surrounding environment remains fraught with peril. Stranded at the mountain's peak, Elodie feels utterly helpless, tears streaming down her cheeks. Desperate to call out for aid, she realizes her voice is lost amidst the towering heights. Suddenly, the thundering of hooves draws near, accompanied by the ominous presence of the dragon. Fearing for her life, Elodie seeks refuge in a nearby cave, where the dragon warns her that escape is futile, vowing to capture her no matter how hard she tries. In a moment of despair, Elodie hears her father's voice echoing from a cavern below. Heartened by this, she begins her descent, passing by a cache of glittering gold and 3 shattered dragon eggs along the way. These discoveries shed light on the truth behind the queen's tale, revealing a more nuanced understanding of the dragon's involvement in their people's suffering. In a haunting revelation, it becomes clear that many years prior, the king had encountered 3 dragon eggs within the cave. Emerging from these eggs were 3 young dragons, whom the king tragically slew. This act sparked the dragon's relentless thirst for vengeance upon the king's lineage, demanding the sacrifice of 3 children from each generation to maintain peace. The scene shifts to the past, where the king, desperate for his life, pleads with the dragon. In a chilling exchange, the dragon demands the ongoing sacrifice of 3 children from each generation to quench its thirst for vengeance. Returning to the present, Elodie's father bravely confronts the dragon, determined to reclaim his daughter. Despite the dragon's imposing presence, he defiantly declares his intent to fight for her return. Unfazed, the dragon challenges him to summon his daughter forth. Elodie's father warns her from a distance, shouting for her safety as the dragon's anger flares, lashing out and striking him with a fierce blow. Watching her father's suffering, Elodie's cry fills the air, momentarily diverting the dragon's attention. Seizing the opportunity, Elodie rushes to her father's side, where he implores her to live on despite his own failings. With his last breath, he urges her to find safety with her mother and sister on their ship. As Elodie moves to leave, she uses the chain they descended on to climb up, but the dragon spots her. She narrowly avoids the dragon's fiery attacks, eventually making her escape from the cave. Sitting atop her father's horse, Elodie flees, but the dragon's wrath follows closely behind, leading to a heartbreaking decision as she abandons her horse to hide in the mountains. Angered by her escape, the dragon unleashes its fire upon the defenseless horse. In the distant palace, the queen observes the chaos unfolding and seethes with anger, blaming Elodie for everything and vowing to take matters into her own hands. Meanwhile, aboard the ship, Elodie's sister gazes upon the flames in the mountains, unaware of the impending danger. Suddenly, the queen appears and snatches Elodie's sister, intending to offer her as a sacrifice to the dragon in place of Elodie, in a bid to save her kingdom. Elodie's mother bravely tries to intervene, but the queen ruthlessly wounds her and flees. The following day, Elodie arrives at the ship and finds her injured mother, who reassures her that she will be okay, and urges Elodie to find her sister, whom the queen plans to sacrifice. Elodie, devastated by the news, informs her mother of their father's demise. Hearing about her sister's capture, Elodie rushes to the cave where she believes the queen has taken her. Inside, the queen performs a strange ceremony, cutting her own hand and Elodie's sister's hand, mixing their blood and tossing it into the pit below where the dragon lurks. The dragon catches Elodie's sister in its grasp. Elodie, having arrived at the cave, remains hidden as she prepares herself for what lies ahead. Gathering a swarm of glowing insects and her father's sword along with other weapons, she readies herself for a confrontation with the dragon. Meanwhile, the dragon, though having captured Elodie's sister, has not harmed her yet. Instead, it sits among its deceased offspring, vowing to seek revenge on Elodie for the loss of its children. Aware that Elodie will come to rescue her sister, the dragon eagerly anticipates the opportunity to torment and ultimately kill her. In an attempt to distract the dragon, Elodie creates noise within the cave, alerting the creature to her presence. Seizing the opportunity, Elodie swiftly approaches her sister to rescue her. However, before they can escape, the dragon returns to confront them once more. Elodie bravely confronts the dragon, revealing the truth about the kingdom's deceitful actions and pleading for mercy. Yet, the dragon remains resolute, insisting on avenging the loss of her children at the hands of Elodie's elders. Refusing to accept blame for the sins of her ancestors, Elodie insists that they are not responsible. Before she can explain further, the dragon unleashes a ferocious fire attack. In her desperation to evade the flames, Elodie stumbles and falls into the water, writhing in agony from her injuries. The dragon seizes the opportunity to capture Elodie once more, inflicting further harm with her sharp claws. Elodie tried to protect herself by poking the dragon's eye with her sword. This made the dragon very mad. The dragon pushed Elodie away and breathed fire at her, but the fire hit the rocks and bounced back, hurting the dragon instead. The dragon felt very sore after getting burned. Then Elodie showed her hand to the dragon and told her to look at the wound. She explained that the kingdom tricked the dragon by mixing their blood with hers to make it seem royal, but they weren't related to the people who hurt the dragon. They were just innocent girls sacrificed by the kingdom. Elodie said the kingdom was wrong for sacrificing innocent girls like them. She told the dragon that just like the kingdom hurt her, it was also hurting someone else's children. After learning the truth, the dragon is overcome with sorrow. It believes that its punishment should be death, and asks Elodie to kill it. However, Elodie refuses to end the dragon's life. Instead, she uses the small insects she collected to heal the dragon's wounds, showing compassion and forgiveness. Elodie realizes that the true traitors are the prince and queen of the kingdom who lured her into marriage, intending to sacrifice her to the dragon. She discovers that the prince plans to sacrifice another innocent girl in the same way. Elodie reveals the truth to the dragon and urges it to flee from the kingdom. Following that, Elodie instructs everyone who wishes to save themselves to depart from the premises. The queen responds with skepticism, questioning Elodie's capacity to pose a threat alone after surviving the dragon. Elodie retorts, asserting she is not acting alone. At that moment, a colossal flying dragon swoops down from the heavens, obliterating the entire palace along with its royal inhabitants. With this, Elodie's vengeance is exacted in full. In the final scene, we witness Elodie, alongside her sister and mother, preparing to depart the kingdom. Elodie reassures her mother, expressing confidence that she will adeptly manage the kingdom's treasures in place of her father. Moved by her daughter's conviction, her mother expresses profound happiness as they set off for their homeland. The dragon accompanies them, now loyal to Elodie, and that's how the story ends.